Let's now generate the cone for this umbrella. So I'm in the model environment and I'm going to come down to generate and select membrane. As soon as I do, the first thing I want to click on is come down and I want to change the mesh type from any of these options to cone because we're going to generate a cone. So let's run down this panel now from top to bottom pretty quickly. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set my radial and my circular number of membrane sections. So for this example, I'm going to select 9 segments radially. That'll be from the bale ring out to my edges. And then I'll go ahead and set my circular number of sections to, let's go with 24. So that'll give me 6 per side for this umbrella. I'll go ahead and leave my Union Jack pattern as standard for the triangulation pattern. We have our cone, and now we get down here to ring diameter. So this just sets the diameter of your bale ring. So this is a metric units example. So let's go ahead and go 0.4 meters for my bale ring. What you see right here, the rot X and Y, that's rotation for X and Y. So NDN, if you would like, can go ahead and generate your bale ring rotated to an orientation you would like. I just want this to be nice and flat, so I will leave those blank. The next several things here are also pretty important. You always want to check. Ring of beam elements, that's very handy. With this checked, when you generate your cone, NDN will automatically put a ring of beam elements at your bale ring. Perimeter cables, this will generate a string of cables around the full perimeter of my cone. It's very nice to have NDN do that automatically for us. I'll leave that checked. And radial cables. So this is an equal stress field cone. For that to work properly, we're going to need radial cables. So this will allow NDN to just go ahead and generate those for us automatically. I'll leave that checked. We also have an option here, which I have unchecked, for NDN to add radial cables along every radial mesh line. I don't want or need that here. That would be overkill for the structure, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. And then another option that I do have checked is for NDN to add a string of geodesic elements along all of my circumferential mesh lines. I like that. I want to leave that there. And then finally down here we have our warp orientation. If I go ahead and I leave the mouse over this, it'll tell me warp orientation is set for radial. I could change that to circular if I want. I want to leave that as radial. And the last thing I want to talk about quickly is under my options, I have the box checked to smooth. So as soon as I finish clicking out everything I need to click to generate my cone, NDN will go ahead and automatically smooth the structure as it creates it. So we've reviewed this information. Now let's go ahead and generate our cone. All we need to do is follow the instructions down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the program. So first thing I want to do is I want to click one node to set my bale ring. So that will be the center of my bale ring. Now I just click out 2 or 3 nodes around the perimeter of my cone in the counterclockwise direction. And you can see right here it says 2 nodes for a linear segment, 3 nodes for an arc. So I have all of my sides or arcs. So I will click 1, 2, 3 for my first side. You can see it highlights it in white on top of my arc element. That's why you kind of see both colors. NDN remembers where you left off, so I can click on my second node, third node for my second side, second node, third node, and then as soon as I finish this last side, as soon as I get back to my starting point, NDN will go ahead and automatically generate everything and smooth it. So I'll go my second node, third node, bam. So I've got my cone. You can see really quick, as soon as it generated it first, the image then jumped because it smoothed everything. I'll go ahead and right click or click finish. Okay, so we now have our cone. Here, let me go ahead and put us in a top view real quick just to look at it. Okay, I like how this is looking. Now remember, this is also just our starting point. The membrane has been generated and it's been given a quick smooth, but we haven't shaped it yet. So this is not what our final product is going to be. But I like this. If we take a look, we've got our radial cables running to each corner. I can zoom in. And we've got a ring of beam elements at our bale ring. Perfect. Now here also you can see on the edges here, we've got arc elements and you can see that our perimeter cables are kind of hiding under there, which is why you're seeing blue and pink. Let me go ahead and turn off my arcs. Okay, there we go. Now you can see we've got a string of cable elements around the full perimeter. We also have the appropriate amount of radial segments for our membrane as well as circumferential segments for our membrane. So I'm pretty happy with this. Now what we'll do in the next video is a little fine tuning, get our properties assigned, get everything divided up onto proper layers, and go ahead and shape this so we can get our final shape.